Hello and welcome. This is lesson 1.3, and today we're going to talk about rounding and some of the processes to do that. We're going to start with this math message. We'll get our thinking brains going on here. This question says that Ravi wants to know the total number of students that go to his school. The school website says about 860 students. The school newsletter says about 900 students, right? The word about is in both of those sentences. The principal then tells Ravi that the school has exactly 856. How did the website get about 860? Where did that number come from? How did the newspaper get about 900? So take a moment and think about that. Let's see what they did here. So this number, the number is exactly 856, and the school website says about 860. So when they put the word about there, they're telling you that that's not an exact number. So they kind of said that, well, 856. Well, let's see. If we had 860 right here and 850 on this number line, well, then 856 would be, about here, right? Closer to 860. So they said about 860 because it's closer than it is to 850. The school newsletter, however, right, said about 900. Well, they're not really wrong either because they're thinking kind of about a different number line. They're thinking, well, let's make this number line go between 800 and 900. Well, if the middle number here would be 850, then this 856 would go closer to 900, right? And so 856 is closer to 900 than it is 800. So they're not wrong either. They both just used rounding in a different way, right? And to write it as a sentence, the website rounded 856 to the nearest 10, right? To the tens place. And the newsletter rounded to the nearest 100. So we're going to learn about that as we work through things today. Numbers are rounded to make them easier to work with or to understand. People will say, oh, there's about this, or I think it might be around this. And what they're doing there is rounding those numbers. And you'll hear that all the time in the real world. So, our goal today, our objective is to round numbers through the hundred thousands place. And that standard is right here using place value to round multi digit numbers. Now, one key little rhyme that you can remember when rounding is five or above, give it a shove. Okay, and I'm going to show you what that means as we go. So look at these numbers. Here's 70, here's 80. So here we have 75, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Those numbers are all 5 or above in the ones place, right? So they're going to get shoved up to 80. And as we go through some examples, I'll show you what that means. Right? So we might need to round a number to the thousands place. Really, you can round any number to any place value that you want to. But let's do some examples with the thousands place. So here's our number, 6,595. So what do we do first? Number one, find the digit in the thousands place. Look here, right? Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So we underlined the digit in the place that is named, right? Underline the 6. Look at the digit to the right of the thousands place. Okay, right here, right? So we drew an arrow to the digit on the right. If the digit is 5, excuse me, if the digit is less than 5, round down. If the digit is 5 or greater, round up. So we look at this digit, right? This 5 that's right here. If it is 5 or above, it's going to shove the 6 up to the next number. If it's not, then the 6 stays the same. The number that you underline never goes down, right? So this number is 5 or above, right? This is a 5. It's 5 or above. So it's going to shove that 6 up to a 7. And then all the rest of the numbers after what you underline become zeros. So this answer when rounded to the nearest thousand is 7,000. Now, what if we have to do the hundreds place? Look, same number, but it's going to have a different uh, answer here because we're going to round to a different place value. So we're going to find the digit in the hundreds place. So notice this time we didn't underline the 6, we underlined the 5 because it's in the hundreds place. Look at the digit to the right of the thousands. So we drew this one times to the 9. If the digit is less than 5, round down. If the digit is 5 or greater, round up. So looking at this 9, I think, okay, is this 9 5 or above? Well, yes, it is. It's more than 5. So it's going to shove this 5 next to it up to a 6. So that's where this 6 came from. Everything after what we underlined becomes a 0, but we're going to keep this 6,000, right? We weren't dealing with the thousands place, so it just kind of stays the same. All right, let's do some more examples as we work through this objective. We're going to round to the thousands place. You can write these down with me if you'd like. Okay, we're going to underline the 9 and draw an arrow over to the 2. So we look at the 2. This 2, this one right here, we think, is it 5 or above? If it is, it's going to shove the 9 up. If it's not, the 9 stays the same. Well, this 2 is not 5 and above. It does not give a shove, so we keep the 9, and then everything after that becomes a 0. So our answer here is 9,000. Hey, what about this one? Rounding to the hundreds place. So we're going to underline the hundreds place. We'll draw an arrow over to the 7. And what do you think this will be? Well, the 7 that we've just drawn an arrow to right here, it is 5 or above. So it's going to push this 2 up to become a 3. Everything after these numbers here becomes zeros. But this 9, we're going to just keep it the same. We're not dealing with the thousands place in this number, so we just keep that the same. All right, let's look at one that's bigger. Round to the nearest 10,000. So ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So this is going to be our underlined number. We draw an arrow to the number on the right, and we look at that number. If it is 5 or above, it shoves the 2. Is it 5 or above? Yes, it is, right? That 9 is more than 5. So it's going to shove the 2 up to a 3. Remember, the number that you underlined is never going to go down. It's either going to stay the same or get shoved up. Everything after that number we underlined becomes a 0. And if there's anything before it, we leave it alone. 130,000. All right, let's look at this one. Round to the nearest 1,000. Excuse me, round to the nearest 100,000. That would be a very different answer. Round to the nearest 100,000. What do you think it's going to be? Let's look. Here's the ones place, tens place, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. So we're underlining the 1. We're going to draw an arrow to the 7. We look at that 7. Is that 7 5 or above? Sure is. 7's more than 5. It's going to shove that 1 up. The 1 could either go up or stay the same. And then all the digits after this become zeros. All right, so this is rounding. This is our procedures to be able to round. As you begin the math journal page, let's make that a little bigger. Let's do the first one here together because it's a little bit confusing with the number lines. I showed a number line at the very beginning of this video, but not much after that. So this is to complete the number lines, plot the numbers on the number lines, and then use them to help you round the numbers. So you're kind of thinking like we did at the very beginning as to which end of the number line our number is closest to. So 4,698 to the nearest 1,000. Well, if it rounds down, our answer is going to be 4,000. If it rounds up, we're going to end up with 5,000. Halfway between those numbers, half of 1,000 is 500, so 4,500. So our number is going to go, oh, right about here, and it's closer to 5,000. This is just another way to think about rounding, um, more of a visual method. And if it helps you, that's great. So you're going to continue this math journal page. You've got numbers to round here. If the number lines are just confusing, just skip over those and just fill in the rounded number. If you like what we were doing most of the time in the video better, that's fine. Okay. And then down here, a little word problem for you to do. So our goal today was to excuse me. Our goal today was to, where's that goal? There it is, was to round numbers through the hundred thousands place. Let me know if you need any help, and good luck.